Hey everybody, I'm Proton, aka Botshots, and welcome back to another video. Today I'd like to discuss 10 figures I would like to see remade in the modern era for Cybertron. So, to start out, I would like to discuss what we have already had made, and that is these guys. So we've had Override, Hotshot, back in Siege we had Armor Defense Hotshot, and the Galaxy Upgrade Optimus, which I still think we need another version of, just so we can get it a little more accurate, because this is more of a G1ified Optimus Prime, and it doesn't quite fully scratch that itch for me. Then we had Vector Prime, Starscream, Cannonball, which is one of my favorites. Go back to the Cannonball video, the Toys of Cybertron. Me and my buddy Nod, we've discussed that Cannonball means a lot to both of us. And Sideways. So we've gotten these periodically over the years, and I feel that there is way more potential of figures that we could get here in the far future. And I would like to discuss just a few basic ones that I'd like to see come out maybe in the next few years or so. So, there is no particular order. This is just what I want to see come out. Let's start with a good one, huh? Megatron. So, I will have sources linked down at the bottom of the pages. I got a lot of these images from Transformerland and TF Source or Cybertron.com. But to start off strong, actually. I like to talk about Megatron. I think Megatron is well deserving of a modern update because, one, it's a race car Megatron. Who doesn't want their Megatron to turn into a race car? I'm starting to realize I'm starting to say Megatron too much. But you know what? It's worth it. This one would be a triple changer where, yes, the race car would be the main mode, but you would be able to convert them into the spaceship from the show, and then you would have his weapons. You would have the arm gauntlet and the wheel that turns into the Gatling gun. But all in all, I mean, the design itself speaks numbers. It would do, in my opinion, it would do numbers. I think Megatron is just especially this design, it's well known enough that people want it, and it'll get rid of the norm of the G1 Megatron. We've had Armada Megatron. We've technically had Energon Megatron as the core class, but I feel that we need this to complete the trio. So next, I'd like to discuss Ransack and Crumple Zone. Here, let me move myself out of the way. So, I'm cheating with this one. You can't talk about one or the other without one or the other. Crumple Zone, I would like to see more over Ransack, but again, if they would want to make like a feature 2-pack or even make them individual releases, I'm so down for it. Crumple Zone specifically is calling for a Voyager here, and his gimmick with his twin turbines, and Ransack with his little biker seat gun. I think there's a lot of potential with these two, and there's definitely a lot of repaint potential at least. There's just a lot I would like to see done for a modern update of these guys. Like, I would like to see eventually maybe a Dawn of Futures Past set of Crumple Zone and Ransack turned into Primal and Rat Trap. But all in all, goofy gag characters, some of my favorite characters from Transformers Cybertron. They were introduced really early on Velocitron, but definitely I would love to see an update. I could not put them by themselves. They deserve their own spot together. Scourge. What more can I say? A big leader class or Voyager class dragon. Like, how cool would that be to just have a modern update of the king of the beasts himself, Scourge. Get his dragon axe tail and have the gimmick of him opening his mouth, and maybe put like a translucent piece in his head to give him that clear eyes, maybe the translucent eyes, and just make him brooding and tall. Like, I want him to tower against my Autobots. This guy, and the colors pop. And we would also have a chance to get maybe Cryotech. We would have a chance to get Predacon Scourge. There's just so many opportunities that Hasbro could do with this mold if we were to get an update. Thunderblast. Thunderblast is one of those fembots that she can be a lot to some people. She was definitely a very interesting character in the show, but the figure itself was pretty much a first of its kind, turning into the boat, like the type of boat ult mode she is. And I feel that a way to modernize it is to fix the backpack. We need to find a way to fix the backpack so it's not as egregious as the original toy. And I think better proportions. I think this has great proportions, but maybe with a little more modernness to it, I think it would honestly be like in my top 5 fembots. Like, and plus, who doesn't like a good fembot? Hasbro loves making fembots like Alita 1, Chromia, RC. Why not add one of the other more popular characters, Thunderblast, to it? And just to see that beautiful boat mode in like a modern 2026, 2027, I think this has a good potential. I'd love to see it. This, my boy. I had to put my boy on here, Soundwave. Soundwave, I don't even know what he is. He looks like a bomber to me, but like the fact that Laserbeak was like a little bomb you could drop out of his chest in vehicle mode when you put a cyber key in. The other ones are turned into his gun, his shoulder cannon, and just the design of this, I love it. It's very different from what we're used to from Soundwave, because just the skinny legs and the big wings on the back. We didn't really get to see much of this, or at least a flight version of Soundwave until later on, like until Transformers Prime and Earthspark. But Cybertron really like defined the era of a flying Soundwave, and I feel that we could also get another repaint out of this. We could get Blaster from Universe. So, and that's one of my go-to Autobots is Blaster. So, any way to get this figure into like a Voyager scale, I would be down to buy. I would want to see Laserbeak included, so it'll probably make it a leader, knowing Hasbro. But like the fact that this design hasn't been made yet, it appalls me because it's just so cool. And hopefully we can do a little bit better with the vehicle mode itself. I think if we can find some, I don't want to have panels, that's the problem, but I think that if we inherit some stuff into it to make the design look a little more cohesive. I know a lot of these toys were designed after the show, like the show models were designed after the toys, right? So yes, they're already accurate enough, and people question why do we need updates. I just would like some modern articulation, and I'd like some better colors, like just added to it. Now that we have the material, we have the ability to do that. But I definitely couldn't go on this list without adding my boy Soundwave, so I feel I would like to see him represented at some point. And especially now that we already have Sideways, it's just inevitable that we have the brothers from Planet X make it to the modern scale. I think now we switch on over to the Autobots. We do. So, here, I'll move my camera over again, just so we can see the source. Here we go. Clocker. I would love to see a modern Clocker, and maybe a breakdown, but Clocker, I felt like, was the youth Autobot that we needed for the show, especially to help guide Hotshot on his journey to find the Speed Planet Cup and the Cyber Planet Key. And he was just always that background character that always resonates with people. So I feel that a modern toy of him would be great, because a lot of us older fans will love it, and I feel that we could make him a Tiny Deluxe, which I know people are hit or miss on the Tiny Deluxes, but I definitely see that it's not going to be a bigger deluxe. It doesn't need to be. It should be smaller than Hotshot. He was smaller than Hotshot in the show. But to add maybe the exhausts as an actual part onto it instead of, or like molded detail, I think I'd like better if they could incorporate it well. And I think that his twin barrel laser gun would be a nice weapon accessory, I would say. And I don't know, I just really want Clocker. I think Clocker's cool. So next we got Quickmix. So we did in Legacy, we got a Titan class of Metroplex, but I think I would love to see Quickmix and his Minicon. I don't know if I would want it to be a Titan though. I think I would want it to be a Commander, or not a Commander. If you're gonna make it a Titan, make it a small Titan like Star Convoy, because in the show, Quickmix was shorter than Metroplex, so I don't need him to be a full-on $100 Titan. But if we made him a smaller Titan or a Commander, I feel we could get more mileage out of it. We could do eventually the Universe repaint, where it's the green and yellow, and I see that way we can also get the inclusion of the Minicon, because if you see from what we just got with the Armada Jetfire, I mean, he's a relatively big character, but we just got 3 Minicons out of it for the price of a Commander class. And I see that if we could do this in a larger Commander and include his Minicon, I think that would fit just fine for a lot of us modern collectors, especially me, who is now only really focusing on Cybertron characters. I mean, it's going to have the inclusion of the Cyber Key, like the small ones that have been coming out here recently. But I think that we don't need a huge Quickmix. So, like, even back when they made this figure, he was significantly smaller than Metroplex, but it's still that size that doesn't matter. And I know we're in an age where scale does supposedly matter, but are we really going to buy a $200 Titan, $150 Titan for a Quickmix? He is not that well known enough to be sold like that. Menasor, maybe. Quickmix, no. So if we kept him if you were to do it, I would say a small scale Titan, but Commander, I think, is where this guy would shine the best at. Next up, we got Overhaul. This is an easy one. This is an easy, we need a redo. He's part of the original cast. We don't get many SUVs like this. The design itself, with like the Wolverine claws and the missile in the chest. I think if we were to do a modern one, they probably wouldn't make like a projectile unless it was like a 5mm port with the arrow. But I think what they could do with it, at least with a modern budget, I think they can give more articulation than he had, because all he's got is he can't even fully move his arms. He can't do a lot of things. But we had joints in the legs, had better joints in the arms, and better like ball joints or something to help with the car doors move. Give him better head articulation. This figure in itself, I mean, already is darn near close. I think with a few modern touches, we could have the perfect overhaul. And I'll bring it up again. We have possible repaint opportunities. We have Brush Guard. We have 07 Warpath. There's just a lot of these Cybertron dudes have the tooling, have the repaints that Hasbro is looking for, especially later waves like 4 and 5 waves, that they need to for their stuff. And I feel a lot of these Cybertron dudes would help with that. And I would surely buy them because I'm the Cybertron nerd. So Overhaul himself, I mean, I just feel like with the aesthetic and whatnot, and especially with the Jeep, I feel there's a bunch of potential we could do with his character. Downshift. So if you watched my Cannonball video, I was talking about Downshift. He was a 2-pack, or you could buy him separately with Cannonball. But this, I remember getting this figure and absolutely adoring the car mode. Like, it has the weird texture on top of the roof, and it's unreal. It's not like any other Transformer I've messed with. But the car itself is so beautiful. The robot itself, it emulates Wheeljack. And you could potentially do future Wheeljack pre-paints of this one too. Do Big Daddy. You could do Slicer. But it has the gimmick of the claws coming out of the chest and the gun, or the shoulder guns. There's just, this figure deserves, it not only needs, it deserves the modern treatment because of what it can do. And now, is it going to be as cool as the original? Probably not. But I feel for a toy-only character, and we already got Cannonball, so it's not like it's impossible. Why not? Why not give us something as cool as this? Posed with our modern Cybertron stuff. And then finally, on our list, we've got Longrack. I just got this figure actually recently, and I cannot put it down. I got it at a convention. Longrack was a partial off of the Hoist from Armada, and there's an opportunity right there. Most likely, if we were to get a Longrack, we would probably have Hoist first, and then they would do it. But I feel, there you go, you're scoring Armada and Cybertron together. Longrack, and it's a callback to a Beast Wars character. And with the design of it, giving it that giraffe look and the cool gimmick arm, I think if we can make that arm more posable and have it posed however we wanted it to, I think it would already make a perfect figure, in my mind, into a better figure. If we got joints at the knees to be able to bend it better, thigh swivel. I mean, even for 2005, this figure has foot articulation. Like, you have ankle joints for a 2005 figure. I see a lot that could be done with this, and I just think that more people need to see this design, and more people need to get a chance to mess with a version of this design, old or new. I don't care. If you have to go get an old one, go get an old one. It's just as good. But if they were to make a new one of this, there is just so many potential things you could do with it. The articulation would make it so much greater. The color scheme is so good. I feel if we can make it a little more playable. I wish we could go back to the gimmick style of toys, but Hasbro is focusing more on the collector's market, which is fine to a degree. But some of these figures, they need that gimmick to elevate them. And I'm running on a tangent, but I see a lot we can do with Longrack that even with it not even just being Longrack first, you can still, like I said, do Armada hoist. You can get some mileage out of this. And that's about it. I mean, these are just a bunch of things that I've been messing with here recently, and I'll probably come up with another 50 figures I'd like to talk about. But these are just a small few figures that have really stood out to me over the last 5-ish years of collecting these things. These deserve, and especially since they introduced Override and Hotshot into Legacy and decided to do those designs. And yes, I know we did the Siege stuff, but I feel now that we're opening the gates to Unicron Trilogy, we really need to dive into those characters. We're running out of G1. We don't need as much anymore. It's going into the Studio Series, and probably Cybertron too. Cybertron will most likely go into Studio Series, but I see the ideas that they could do, and I just feel like it would make them some good money. I feel like it would do numbers. I feel like it would please a lot of us fans. I feel that this is what I want to see out of Transformers, because I'm already dying down, especially with the prices and whatnot. And I know that's a whole argument in itself, and probably could get its own video. These are just, from my perspective, as a Cybertron kid, these are just what I would love to see modern interpretations of. And I feel that we need them. We need them. And these are just the ones I personally want here made soon. So I would like to thank you for staying till the end of the video. I know this was kind of a weird video, but this was something I'd like to discuss and maybe like to do more of in the future. So this has been Botshots, signing out.